Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and today we're joined by Derek Binner to discuss all the recent Super Smash Bros. 3DS and Wii U news that came out this past week. So let's get started. Alright, Derek, so now that we finally finished the analysis, I feel,
Hallelujah.
Right? I feel like that finally opens up to covering, much more about the game than we have before. But we were kind of like holding back, until we got the analysis done, so...
Yeah, we wanted to do more, but there was just... Because of these weekly updates, we were just falling further and further and further and further behind, so it just became a mountain for us to... get over, and well, you guys saw the end result.
Yeah, I mean, I think it turned out pretty well, but it's such a huge load off our collective shoulders.
Oh my god, how long did we spend doing that?
Oh god, that was ridiculous.
I think that was a 2-day project of almost constant work.
Well, that was just a 2-day project at the end, not taking into account all the time I spent writing the script up to that point. And that was a 2-day project for both of us, basically. It was, that was absurd.
Yeah, no, there was a reason the two of us actually joined in on that video, because Andre had to get going for Thanksgiving. I happened to be around, switch up my how free I was to make this work, and oh my gosh, it was a nightmare.
Dude, but at least it seemed to have paid off, so...
I think so. I think everybody liked it.
Yep, seems that way. So it looks like we chose a good week to do that, or a good week in which to do another discussion right after the analysis, because there was a bunch of news this week for Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS.
Oh, definitely.
Because, of course, they always update the official website every day with a new screenshot. Now, most of the time, those screenshots just show off things we've already seen before. Occasionally with something new. This week, we basically got something new almost every day, if not every day, I think. Now, one of the bigger things is, kind of annoyingly, actually, because we put so much time into covering the villager in our analysis, and of course they announced 2 new moves for him, basically, in the update. And that is, we now know what what 2 of his aerial attacks are, his up air and down air attacks. And that is, he can throw turnips this time, like the turnips from the Animal Crossing games. And it looks like they'll actually even come in different sizes, kind of like, Peach's, doesn't Peach throw turnips too?
Yeah, but they're the Super Mario Brothers 2 turnips. Right. Completely different.
Right, huge difference. So yeah, like his actually changed size too. And apparently Sakurai actually says that perhaps because turnip prices fluctuate depending on the day's market, the number of turnips that appear changes every time here. Oh, so I actually take it back. It's not actually a size thing, but it's how many turnips appear.
Yeah.
So it looks like he throws them in bundles of one.
So, like here we see a clump of 3. So,
right. So it's effectively a size difference, but it's it works for what the Animal Crossing series
and
is.
It seems like it's going to be like every time you go to use this move, it's going to be a different size. So it's one of those risk-reward things.
Right, exactly. I mean, it seems very similar to Peach, but what's different about her is that it seems like he'll be able to pull. I mean, he can do it in the air, or I guess Peach. Oh, can Peach as well?
She can draw them and then jump into the air and do that.
Right, but she has to pull them from the ground, though, right?
No, she has to pull. I believe she has to pull them from the ground. So,
right.
Yeah.
So his is a little bit different. So I guess what I'm wondering is, does he just throw it immediately, or is he able to hold on to it? I'm guessing because it's 2 different attacks. I'm guessing he actually just throws it. So if you do the up air, you'll toss it up, or the down air, throw it down.
Well, it seems like, looking at this picture, it's not even, it doesn't even seem like he has to throw it. I mean, he uses them in the air. It doesn't mean he's actually throwing it. Maybe he's just, bashing him over the head with it in his hands.
It's so hard to tell from this picture. I mean, to me, my initial impression was he's in the throwing animation. That's what we're seeing right now. He's, in the act of throwing it down.
See, in my head, he's aiming downward, and he's falling from the sky and trying to bash somebody with the head with it, sort of like an overhead sword strike.
So you don't think... So you don't think he's actually throwing it? You think he's just attacking with it?
Yeah, I think it's that's what he uses in the air, is just using it as a bash. I mean, you could be right, I could be right. It's hard to say, but
interesting idea. I didn't even consider that. I thought for sure it would be a projectile. Interesting. Yeah, interesting way of looking at it.
It still could be. I mean, it's maybe you bash it and then toss it or something, or maybe you have the option to do both. It's hard to say.
I mean, I guess that would make more sense considering he has 2 moves tied to it. I mean, it makes sense either way, because if it's a projectile, he just means he's throwing it up or down. So yeah, well, I guess, if it's not in fact a projectile, then actually that is a pretty big difference from Peach's own. So yeah, I don't know. I guess It could just be because that's what I expected it to be. I kind of hope it is a projectile. What do you think? Do you have a preference either way?
Not really. I'm kind of... This, to me, is, at least his down air is probably going to be a meteor attack.
Right.
So it'd probably be good to just bash somebody down. But it seems like rather than being directly below you, you have to sort of aim a little bit in front of you. Mm-hmm. So it adds a little bit of a difference to it as far as strategy goes. I think I'd prefer more bashing it because he definitely seems to be a close-up fighter, not so much a projectile-based one.
Yeah, that's... I guess that is kind of true. Although he does have the slingshot, right?
True. I can't see that doing much damage, but it's sort of like Fox's blaster, just, snipe attacks.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, you're definitely right. But I guess we did learn about another projectile move he does have. So maybe
yes.
So maybe the turn-ups are projectiles, but it's hard to tell. But his other move that we learned about is his special attack, which is the Lloyd Rocket. Which is a gyroid from the Animal Crossing series. And according to Sakurai, it's a projectile like no other, in that you can launch it or you can ride on it. And the way it works is apparently you press the button once to fire it off, but if you keep holding the button down, you can hop on it and even control its speed, according to Sakurai. And that makes it even more powerful, which is pretty unusual. And we actually saw a screenshot too before of him riding the rocket.
Yeah, this is the thing that confused us during the analysis. We were trying to figure out whether it was an item, something used in the background during the villager stage,
Right.
How exactly it's used. And I think we even predicted in the analysis that it might work like Luigi's side B.
Exactly.
Where he sort of launches himself, and I think this fits the thing, because this is an excellent recovery. Like where he has the balloons that can be popped, so that's not exactly a great aerial recovery as far as upwards momentum. But this Lloyd Rocket could be an excellent side recovery. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, just like Luigi, as you mentioned. I think it's a really interesting idea, especially, it's definitely playing with... I like how they're just playing with the potential moveset of him, because I'm pretty sure none of the gyroids rocket around in Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. So it really doesn't make any sense contextually, but it's cool all the same.
I've heard of these things being rockets, but I don't play Animal Crossing that much, so I'm not positive on that.
I could be mistaken. Maybe one is at some point. I don't remember ever seeing one. Usually they're just... there's Lloyd, who you come across...
Just jingling all around.
Yeah, he'll in Animal Crossing New Leaf, he'll lend you items. They have a different purpose in each game. But then there's also gyroids you can find as items they can just keep in your house. But this guy is clearly based on the main one being Lloyd. I think it's cool seeing this. The villager just seems like he has a really a really fun moveset to play with.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody was talking about how varied Mega Man's moveset was, and I think the Villager's almost matching him, if not surpassing him, because Mega Man has all those classic moves,
right.
But Villager is just like all kinds of different abilities that all seem like a lot of fun and make them quite different and unique. Yeah,
absolutely. So I wonder though if when you're riding this, if you can actually steer it around. You can control its speed, but can you adjust? Can you change its trajectory maybe? Can you go up and down with it?
I'm gonna say I want to say no, because I think it would be just too powerful if you could do that. Because just imagine you hop on it and all of a sudden you're on the speeding bullet trying to chase down other players.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, so I just like everything I've seen of him, and I'm really just curious to play with him. So especially if he does get a female avatar, as we theorized in the analysis.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, next up we have. No, I'm not actually sure the screenshot shows something new. It's definitely the least newsworthy of the screenshots, where it shows another picture of the Palawings level, and this time we can see another island in the background, which is just a sub island of Woohoo Island that I believe you golfed on in Wii Sports Resort, and it was also in Palawings Resort, and we can see it has the little rock structure in the center that looks like a dinosaur. It's nothing remarkable about it, but it just shows, it does seem like they're bringing everything from, everything that was in Palawings Resort is going to be here as well. And every element of Woohoo Island. But, unfortunately, still no confirmation of a Palawings 64 Island.
Yeah, I had mentioned that to you earlier. I'm not exactly familiar with the Pilot Wings series at all. I've actually never played any of the games. But when I saw this, I was like, that doesn't look like the other islands we've seen to this point. I was like, could that be the Pilot Wing 64 island? And then I brought it up to you, and you're like, no, I don't think that is. So I was like, that's sort of a bummer. It would be nice to see all the games represented just because we have these planes, but
I feel like it has to be. Like, it has to be there. We've got the original Pilot Wings, we've got the new Pilot Wings, there's only one game left. And it's not like those islands would be particularly hard to recreate, you know? I mean, they have, you know, one of those, the game had 4 islands to work with, and any of them would work, except for maybe the little states, but the other 3 would work perfectly here. So I'm pretty sure he's just holding it off. I'm really hoping he is.
It looks like that soccer ball gets, for the Wii Fit trainer, just goes everywhere in this game. Because we've seen it, we'd see her spawning it to use, but that thing lasts for a while because you see Mario headbutting it at one point in one of the other screenshots. You see Sonic and her playing with it, I guess, essentially, in this screenshot. So I'm curious. I'm starting to wonder, how long does this soccer ball last? Does it work like the soccer ball item from Brawl?
Yeah, it could be, where it just hangs around for a while. Yeah, and anyone can use it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the soccer ball was like a supremely powerful item in Smash Brothers Brawl. Like, once it appears, like, you want to start targeting people with it. Yeah. So I feel like it can't. I mean, I feel like it can't be as strong here. Otherwise, it just would be too much. Yeah,
the only thing I could think of is, like, maybe it's not quite as powerful when she spawns it to use it, but once it hits the ground, it becomes like the regular soccer ball.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. That's definitely possible. So I wonder if you could have more than one soccer ball out at a time, or maybe the previous one disappears as she pulls out a second one.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'd be crafty. You see somebody going to use it, and you quickly spawn another one so they can't.
Right. Exactly.
That'd be kind of awesome, actually.
that would be pretty awesome. Now, speaking of awesome, well, actually, I don't know if it's that awesome, but they also showed off what appears to be a new arena, at least as far as I can tell, and that is they showed off one of the monsters from the Find Mii game, you know, on the 3DS StreetPass games. And this is, I forget what the ghost was called, but it's like the big green ghost, like that's a penultimate, you know, villain in the game. So spoilers.
Yeah, I think it's specifically from Find Mii 2, but I mean, I only used Find Mii when I go to conventions, and that's not that often.
Yeah, that could be. I don't remember exactly. So at first I thought he might have been like an assist trophy or something, but then I noticed, and as Sakurai points out, you know, there's a cage in the background, and in fact the whole level seems to be themed to the same arena that you follow him in Find Mii. So that's really interesting, and you know, if this is in fact, you know, an arena and not, I mean, the only other idea I have for it is, you know, maybe it's something that appears in like a single player campaign or something, but I don't see that making a ton of sense.
No, I mean, I get the feeling this is sort of like Yellow Devil Stage Hazard for Mega Man.
Right.
Just this is the 3DS version, since as far as we can tell, none of the Wii U stages are appearing in the 3DS version.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Right, which makes a ton of sense for a 3DS arena, you know, being Street Pass focused. So I wonder if it's just going to be Find Mii, or if it might, you know, spread out to other Street Pass games. You know, whether it's I wouldn't think they'd include any of the new ones that just came out because those are too new. But you know, they could bring in the puzzle element too in some way. You know, how you collect puzzle pieces, and then you can build puzzles out of them. I wonder if that might be an element here, like where maybe puzzle pieces appear, and if you collect enough of them, it'll form a picture, and something appears from it. You know,
it could be. I mean, this is something with a lot of potential with it. I mean, you could have just a singular battle arena for like this ultimate fight, you know, where you're trying to rescue the king.
Right.
Or you could make it more like a traveling stage and just basically get to see all these different places. You know, the puzzle arenas, you get all the build up to this castle. Even all the other ghosts and enemies that you fight throughout, I mean, they could appear and become stage hazards.
That actually would make a ton of sense when you put it that way. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it would make sense for the characters to, for different ones to appear. So I wonder if the arena might change too. Like maybe you actually travel, you know, arena to arena like you do in the game itself. You know, where you go through the doorways and you come across new enemies and new places.
Exactly. I mean, you could almost have like a mini thing. While they're fighting, you could just do the whole playthrough of the Find Mii game.
Right.
Going through all these places, and who knows, maybe they'll even be able to have branching paths like they do in the main game.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, like if you maybe like whichever door you hit blast, we'll choose which one you go through or something. Yeah, they could do something like that. That'd be really cool. A lot of potential there, I feel like.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, at first I thought, my first reaction was that's kind of boring, actually. But the more I thought, the more, some of your ideas specifically, like, could be pretty awesome. So
you gotta have your ideas probably won't get incorporated, but you gotta have sort of like an idea that they're gonna try something like that.
Right,
or at least hope they do.
That they have some ambition with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess the most ambitious thing would be, do you think could it actually involve StreetPass at some level itself? Like maybe what you've done in the StreetPass game, or maybe something you come across, or maybe the more people you interact with that have Smash Brothers might influence the arena in some way.
Oh man, wouldn't that be awesome?
Right? Like that would be totally out there. It'd be pretty damn cool, I think.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they could do with that. Like maybe the more people you StreetPass with, maybe like different Mii's maybe it could be as simple as different Mii's appearing in the background or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can see them fighting this thing in the background as you're fighting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And it's Mii's that you've encountered.
Yeah, I could see that being a possibility. Absolutely.
Yep, definitely. You had another idea concerning with the fact that they're using Find Mii. It's like I think your question was, are they going to use Mii's as a character?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot to. Yeah, that I think this is the best supporting evidence we've seen. I mean, a lot of people theorize that Mii's would be a new character, and I think this very much supports that idea. Now, granted, we've had a couple arenas before where we didn't have a character associated with it, such as the Animal Crossing arena in the last game. But that is something they're fixing this time, by having the villager. So, it's not very often that you have an arena that doesn't have any characters from it. So I do think this supports the idea of there being a Mii character. And it would just make so much sense, I feel like.
Well, and it also fit in, like, people have been, like, I don't know how, like, widespread this is, but people, like, put in Reggie as a character and all that. I was like, well, this is a good way to solve it.
Yeah, right, exactly. They have that petition now where Reggie himself said, we will consider if we get 100,000 signatures. And I think it's at least halfway there at the time of this recording. And that's the only way I could see it making sense. There's no way they're going to program in, a specific Reggie. Especially when it's someone that could just leave his job at any time and go to a different company. I mean, as unlikely as it is, there's always a chance he could end up like at Microsoft or Sony or something, especially. And that's not something Nintendo would want to advertise, perpetually in this game. I could...
That, and me personally, I really don't want to have Reggie in the game. I mean, Reggie's cool and all, but I don't want to, like, that's a spot in the roster that could go with a much more memorable character. Yeah,
exactly. But, as a skin for a Mii, I could totally see.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And they could do, like, a bunch of Nintendo, employees at that point.
Oh yeah, I want to fight with Miyamoto.
Yeah, right? But I think having a Mii character has a lot of potential here. Now the question is, if there is a Mii character, do you think, presumably you'd be able to play as your own Mii, of course, as opposed to a generic Mii, be able to play as yourself in this game. Do you think that would mean the moveset would be customizable at all, or do you think they just give it a set moveset that just brings in, that just involves different games Mii's have appeared in?
They're doing so much with this game, especially for a 3DS game, like just seeing what they've done so far, and that's just snippets. I don't think they'll go all out with allowing you to customize it.
Right.
Like maybe very limited customization. I kind of doubt it. I think it'll just be based off, you got Wii Sports Resort, all the other games that Mii's pop up in throughout games. And there's a lot of movesets there. You got swords, you got tennis rackets, you got golf clubs, you got boxing gloves.
Oh yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of things you could do. You could bring in elements of even Mario Kart, for instance. I don't know what they could do there, but they've appeared in so many games, such as Mario Kart. They could do there is just limitless potential with what they can do. I mean, they even appeared in Dr. Mario. The WiiWare game. So there are just so many moves they could do. Yeah, like kicking balls around. But I guess although that might intrude on the Wii Fit trainers moveset a little bit, I guess.
A little bit.
No, I actually do think it would be better if it's not a customizable moveset. Just because if it is customizable, that might completely change how the games play. Like what if everyone plays as a Mii, that would take away a lot of the charm of the game, of course. So I think making it its own moveset would be a good thing. The one thing I could see them doing is doing like what Mario Kart did, where having the size of your Mii actually influence your stats a little bit. In that game, you being a bigger Mii, I think meant you had like a higher top speed but slower acceleration. I can see them doing something similar here too, like maybe giving you more airtime if you're a lighter Mii, but making your moveset a little bit weaker or something. Or having the color of your shirt dictate, the magic spell you can do, like in Find Mii, or something along those lines.
It's possible. Hard to say. Like we just don't know how big these games are. I mean, this is a really good-looking 3DS game.
Right.
So
it is,
I just can't see them going all out that much for a potential Mii character.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how far out they'd go with it, but if it is, the thing is, if it is a character, presumably he'd have to be in the Wii U version as well, because they have said the roster would be the same between them all. And in that case, I can see them pulling out all the stops for it. So
True.
Yeah. Now, speaking of new characters, we see a glimpse of someone that's new in this game. Now, he's not a new character itself, or not a new playable character. Instead, it's an assist trophy, and that's Skull Kid, wearing the Majora's Mask, from Majora's Mask. And that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Because, Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zelda games. Right up there with A Link to the Past. And anything from that game, I'm instantly in love with. And seeing Skull Kid come back, I think is just really freaking cool. And as an assist trophy, though, his role is going to be pretty limited. It means he's going to pop out once, do an attack, and then disappear, basically. But I still think it's pretty cool. Now here, it looks like, he's doing a pose that was in Majora's Mask, and I have a feeling it could be, like, he could be summoning the moon to come crashing down.
I mean, that's the most obvious one, isn't it?
Right.
That he just brings out the moon. I mean, it seems almost too powerful, but maybe it's just a mini moon. I can't say. I mean, it sort of seems like the pose that happens after he first comes out of his trophy case,
Right.
Not exactly doing his actual move, but coming out of the trophy case. So I don't know. I can't. The most obvious moveset for him, of course, is to summon the moon.
Right.
Can you? I mean, sad to say, but I've never played Majora's Mask. So is there any other things that he could do potentially?
Not as a Skull Kid. I mean, if it were just a Majora's Mask, he'd have a bunch of different forms he could take from his boss fight, of course. But no, if it's Skull Kid, and Sakurai explicitly mentions it being a Skull Kid assist trophy, not a Majora's Mask assist trophy. I have no other things he could do. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I've got nothing. Maybe he can steal.
Yeah.
Maybe he can steal Link's ocarina, like in Majora's Mask. Yeah, I feel like it has to involve the moon. I've got nothing else. I mean, he could float around. Because you do find him the one time, on top of the tower in town. I'm trying to remember what he does there. Does he fire energy balls at you or something? Or
you're asking the wrong guy.
Oh, that's right. You haven't finished it, have you, or played it?
No.
What's wrong with you, Derek?
Well, here's the thing. I've been waiting for a remake. I wanted to play Majora's Mask, and I was going to pick it up at some point when I got on the Virtual Console. But then you heard about Ocarina of Time 3D,
right? And
I'm like, well, that remake is so good. I'd rather save my money and spend it for when the remake comes out. Because it's going to come out. You have Sakurai sort of giggling when people ask about it. Not Sakurai, Aonuma.
Right.
Excuse me. You have the Majora's Mask appearing as a cameo in Link Between Worlds. You have another smaller cameo mentioning 3 days in Link Between Worlds, which you don't know about yet because
Spoilers.
you have not. Yeah, you haven't played the game. I mean, it's
Right.
only it's more of an Easter egg thing.
Okay.
There's a thing you can do to get indications that make it seem like they're going to do another Majora's Mask remake. The question I have, and I brought this up to you before the discussion, what if this remake is actually for the Wii U, not the 3DS? Because this is a really good model. I mean, of course, they're going to make the models all look good for this game, but this is looks really good to me, almost too good for just a simple assist trophy.
Well, I mean, this assist trophies, they've always looked good. I would say, even in Brawl, they take the Nintendogs one for instance. They went all out on that model, and that was based on a DS game. So I don't think that in and of itself means anything, but I mean, it is possible. As you mentioned, it could be a hint as well. you know, between all the references we've gone so far. I mean, I hope it is. I mean, it has to be. They have to be remaking that game. It has to be remade.
There's too many indications that it's going to be remade. I mean, like when I talked with Ash earlier in the discussion with the Link Between Worlds, he was like, "It's going to happen," and I agree with him. It's going to happen, but every time we've seen something like this, like these type of character reveals for the Smash website, showing off new pictures and stuff like that, usually it's related to a game in some way. Usually a game gets announced, or a game's coming out soon, we get something related to them in Smash.
Right.
What if we're getting the opposite here? Because the other reason I say it might be for Wii U is that tomorrow, the 7th, is Spike's VGX Awards. And the big news there is that Reggie's going to be at the presentation and is going to be showing off a brand new Wii U game. Or something new about a Wii U game, something to that effect. Now, the obvious one would be Smash Brothers.
Right.
That's what we're predicting. As cool as that would be, I'm kind of hoping for a new game to get people really psyched for the Wii U.
Yep.
And the only other two that I can think of that would appeal to the audience, that is the VGX, because these are, quote unquote, hardcore gamers. The people that are only concerned with Call of Duty type stuff. I mean, that's who they try to appeal to. I'm not saying that's who all watches it, but that seems like who they try to appeal to most. So if Nintendo's looking at that, the two franchises that work best to this model is Zelda and Metroid. Right. And Metroid's very much underground. Zelda is very much in the forefront. So I can't see them announcing the new Wii U game here. That's an E3 thing. The brand new one. But a Majora's Mask remake for the Wii U, I can sort of see happening.
Dude, that would be epic. As I was gonna say before, like I would much rather, like I'll take Majora's Mask in any form, but I would much rather have it be on Wii U because Ocarina of Time 3D was cool. I like the 3D what it added to the game, and they did redo the assets, but it still looked just like a refined version of Ocarina. I would love to see Majora's Mask like in HD, kind of like completely redone. That would be an amazing surprise. With that said, I'm still more confident it's going to be a 3DS remake. Because they already had the engine done. And of course, Majora's Mask uses the same engine as Ocarina of Time. And reuse many of the same assets too. So it makes more sense just to do that on the 3DS again. Because they already have, they've already done a lot of the grunt work. So what would be cool, what would be acceptable, is have the remake on 3DS and then announce Majora's Mask 2 for the Wii U.
Oh man, I mean, there you go. That could be something. Maybe maybe you're onto something. Maybe they're going to announce that for the Wii as a Wii U game. But no, you're right. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe they're not indicating a remake, or maybe not just a remake. Maybe Majora's Mask 2.
Yeah, man. It would be awesome if all this were a sign that a Majora's Mask announcement is coming in. Because this is, you're right, the timing is very conspicuous. This is literally the day before Nintendo's announcement. This is the last time they could have shown off something for Smash Brothers that might be tied to their announcement on Saturday. So we'll see.
I'm not ignoring these clues anymore, because as we said before at E3, we saw that little chain, the lanyard holder with the Mario 3D World characters on it. We said nothing because we were like, oh, that's cute.
Oh god, I know. In hindsight, we should have totally posted like just a video about it.
Yeah.
Because you were the one that mentioned it, right? Like you saw the 4 characters, like, oh, I wonder if that means they're playable in the next Mario game. Sure enough, they were. So
no more silence. I'm going off my gut reaction.
We're gonna have like 1,000 videos of the stupid theories this year or next year.
Yeah. It's possible. We'll see. I kind of hope for it, but we'll find out tomorrow.
We will. Won't be long, and I'm sure we'll have some videos following up whatever it's going to be. So stay tuned, guys. So Derek, do you have any final thoughts on anything showing off this week on Smash Brothers at all? Anything we didn't talk about?
Not really. I just, like you said at the beginning, it was a really good week for new Smash Brothers new. I mean, nothing huge in and of itself, but stuff that actually is new. Usually it's just simple pictures showing off character animations or funny situations like that.
Right.
So to see something like almost all new is really cool. So.
Yeah, I wonder if that means like, I wonder if this could be the start of the flood. Like maybe we're getting close enough to release that they can actually start announcing new details. Because with the original Smash Brothers website, or Brawl, they announced something literally new every day for that game. Whether it was something super small or a new character, they had something new every day, and that's something they kind of shied away from with the new one.
Dude, I was in college when that happened. I remember staying up till 3, 4 a.m. every day just so I could see the news.
Right? That was so exciting. Although I do remember a lot of people like being let down by some of the announcements.
Well, of course, because you stay up till 4 a.m. and then you get to see, here's the new item, and it's like,
Yeah,
I could have gone to sleep.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is the start of a new trend. Which means we may have to crank out another analysis sooner than later, I suppose. Alright, and that wraps it up for our Smash Brothers discussion. So thanks to everyone for watching, and thanks to Derek for joining us. If you liked our discussion, make sure to follow us and like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. There are links in the description below. We post all kinds of things there. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on this game and other things gaming too, including whatever Nintendo's crazy announcement is tomorrow, on Saturday. I'm sure we'll have a lot of stuff to follow up with that on. So hopefully, hopefully this is not like a complete tease and it's just a waste of everyone's time. All right, well, thanks for watching and bye.